Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to this vlog, video blog for today, February 13th, 2012. And I'll tell you, this weekend, it was an interesting weekend. Very interesting and kind of very somber if you're a music fan. I'm pretty sure you've heard the news, and if you watched my video before this, you know that we lost Whitney Houston over the weekend. And to quote something that I said in my video that I put on my Facebook, I said on my Facebook, to quote, some of the best singers are gone. First Michael, now Whitney, and then I asked the question, what's going on with my generation? Because these are singers that myself and my sisters, we grew up on. And it's just surprising that within the span of not even 2 years or 3 years, and without even a span of 2 years, and they're gone. So it's kind of hard. But my mom, she told me this. She said maybe it's God's way of telling Whitney it's time to come home. It's time to come home. So it's probably what happened. Maybe it was time for her to go home. Because we all have a short span on this world. And I apologize for that car alarm going off in the background. But like I said, we all have a short span in this world, so maybe it was God's time of saying, Whitney, it's time to come home. And that's what happened. But besides that, and again, my condolences and prayers go out to her family. But besides that, it was a very interesting weekend. I can definitely tell you this, whether you're a grandparent or you're an aunt and an uncle, you definitely have a lot to deal with if you got a lot on your plate. Everybody says this about boys, and it's very true because, I was once a boy, still am, if you will, but a full-grown man. But being once a boy myself, I can kind of, along with my cousins, I can understand this. I can understand the fact that, a lot of people look at boys as being competitive with each other. Hold on, I want to check something for a second. Okay, just checking something on the television. But they kind of look at us boys as being very competitive with each other, whether we're by blood, whether we're brothers or we're cousins or whatever. And nothing is more truer than what you have between two young boys. You see, my two young nephews, my 8-year-old and my 4-year-old, going to be 5 later this year, they're very competitive with each other. It's true, and I'm pretty sure any of you can acknowledge that with your nephews or even your nieces. They're very competitive. Because when one's doing something, then the other's got to do the same thing. Or when one wants to sit at a table and sit on a certain chair at that table, the other's got to do the same thing. It's called competitiveness. And we all know that the kids are going to grow out of it. Hopefully, thankfully, they will grow out of it. But right now, it's just at a stage in their lives to where, one feels that they've always been the only one in their home. And they should be treated as such even outside of it. Maybe that's so, maybe that's not. Well, the other, the others kind of is at that age to where they test their boundaries at a certain age, from what I understand. I'm not a parent, but this is what I hear from my mom and from my sisters, that they test their boundaries. So, so that's kind of the whole situation there, that they test the boundaries to see what they can get away with. What's funny is that one of my nephews, in fact my second to youngest nephew, I have a great nephew, so this is kind of like my youngest nephew, but second to youngest in the nephew field. Here's the thing, this here is my iPod, and apparently he loves this iPod. He loves to play on my iPod, he loves to play on his brother's iPod. And the reason being is because he likes to put on, the reason being is apparently several free apps of one of his favorite characters so that he could download and play games on. And he's so obsessed with it. Well, not obsessed, but he's so determined, if you will, to play those things that he does. That when you, and I'm sure any of you out there probably got similar problem, have a similar situation. That when you try to tell them no, to them, no means yes. I mean, I remember just sitting down. I was recording the countdown to the Grammys last night, and he's coming in and saying, "I want to play with your iPod." And I'm saying, "No, I don't want you to play with my iPod." And still, he goes and reaches for it, and I said, "No, no." And I have to come up with an excuse or something by saying, still got it charged, even though it is charged. I still got to come up with the excuse of it's got a charge. And here's why. Here's why, and I'm pretty sure any of you can relate with this. My nephew, I understand he doesn't understand really how to do an iPod that much. He's just exploring it, he's just exploring the apps and all that. And maybe he does know how to use it well, I don't know. But the first time he used it over this weekend, and this is what really got me, is when I went to use it later on while I'm relaxing, getting ready to go to bed, about almost 2 pages worth of my apps on my iPod are gone. Luckily I have the iTunes with my apps on there, but 2 pages worth, folks, of my apps. Like this, like these things here, 2 pages worth of these apps were gone. And this is a page that still needs to be filled back up. And on the top of the last page, the only apps I saw besides the calculator app were apps based on his favorite character. And I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding me. So, something tells me that in a way he doesn't know, but perhaps he does. But anyway, I've been able to kind of rebuild those pages a little bit so that I don't have to deal with that again. But that is why at times I'm very reluctant to let him use it, because he does this kind of stuff. But again, I can't totally say that he does it on purpose. I mean, again, I can understand maybe he doesn't really know how to use it that well, and maybe he just wants to make room for apps based on his favorite character. But again, that's where the competition comes in with the boys, For the first time, my other nephew wanted to start playing with the iPods. One reason I can think of is his parents forgot to bring his charger for his 3DS, so he had to end up playing one of his DS games that works in there on my DS. So it was kind of a competitive weekend for the boys, like they wanted to up each other. I mean, they got along at times, they played with the toys and stuff, but they wanted to basically up each other it's like they wanted to do the same, one wanted to do the same thing as the other, or they wanted to up each other, they wanted to outdo one another. So that was kind of crazy that they wanted to keep upping each other. I was just checking my time there. That they wanted to keep upping themselves, so kind of like competing beyond whatever. But again, it's like an old saying goes, boys will be boys. Also, over the weekend, I was able to take care of a few things even before they showed up on Friday. Yeah, we had them from Friday evening, or actually late Friday afternoon, about 4 o'clock, 4:30 actually, to about now. Officially, we didn't really have them until officially, me and my mom, we didn't have the kids to ourselves until about 7 on Friday, because my sister, my second older sister, and her husband had to wait for my older sister and her husband to show up, because they were riding to Reno with them. They were driving to Reno with them. But during that time, while I was waiting, I took care of a few things, because I was hoping to entertain the kids. For example, I downloaded through torrents and was able to record onto DVD one DVD. This will kind of give you a clue where my 4-year-old nephew's favorite character is, or who his favorite character is. But this was one movie that I downloaded through a torrent and put on DVD for him to watch. So yeah, you can kind of get an idea of exactly who his favorite character is. And then my 8-year-old nephew has two favorite characters, or two favorite franchises. A comic book franchise, or a comic book character from a comic book franchise, and a video game character. And that video game character, of course, for any kid his age, is Mario. So what did I do? I don't know why I thought it was a good idea. I found and torrented the 1986 OVA Super Mario Brothers anime movie. That's right. And when I showed this to my sister, his mom, my older sister, she's like, "What'd you do? Get him Asian Mario?" No, it's Japanese Mario. But yeah, this is actually the VHS cover. So I was able to find a torrent with it and download it. So that, he didn't watch it. I mean, he looked at glimpses. He got a kick out of the music that was similar in the game. There was the music from the games, but that was about it. Now, also over the weekend, I was able to get in the mail from Netflix and then DVD Fab, Hey There, It's Yogi Bear, which of course I do have. I do have it. My Yogi Bear DVD compilation in my rec room, where I also have Invasion of Space Bears and Yogi's First Christmas. But this is actually a DVD Fab from the actual DVD. I think they just Netflix recently got it in, so that was pretty cool. And then I was able to DVD Fab Disc 1 and Disc 2 of Season 1 and the first few episodes of Season 2 of X-Men. What's funny about that, though, is the X-Men here, the Season 1 disc, for some reason wasn't really working in my DVD player. I didn't know if it was the DVD or it was the player. So I cleaned out the DVD player. I had to use some cleaning fluid, and it worked. A cleaning solution, and it worked. So that was pretty cool. So those have been added. And then through one of those package torrents, I was able to download some Batman stuff, because that's another character my 8-year-old nephew likes. And here it says Batman movies and episodes. I should have put animated movies and episodes. And then on the back we have Mask of the Phantasm, Sub-Zero, Under the Red Hood. And then for episodes from the animated series, the original one from the 90s, something like that, we have Two-Face, Shadow of the Bat, Strange Secret of Bruce Wayne, Almost Got Him. And then we have the Justice League Batman Beyond episode Implage on there as well. So again, I did that to try to keep him busy. And then last night, as I mentioned earlier, while I was recording this, like I said, my 4-year-old nephew tried to get my iPod without permission. But what I did is I also recorded the countdown to the Grammys, and a little bit of our local CBS News coverage on Whitney Houston's passing. So that's what I did, and that's what I did. You may notice it says illegal license on there. Apparently, I have a license for the cover maker, DVD maker, cover maker, but apparently it's not legal. But yeah, that's what happened over this weekend, and the parents did come around about 8:30 or something like that. I guess they wanted to take their time coming home or something. They took some dinner home for tonight so they can eat it. The reason they had to, and what was funny is this is the first time they rushed in and almost rushed out, and the reason was my second older sister's husband, my brother-in-law, had to work last night as well. So his job calls him, say, "Hey, can you come in?" Okay. But overall, it was an okay weekend. Like I said, very somber if you're a music fan. So, it was a good weekend, and that's all I could say. Competitive weekend when it comes to boys. So again, that's all I can say about it. And that's all I'm going to do. Thank you for watching this video blog. Comment down below. Tell me what you think. And I'll talk to you later.